out this Monday. I'm getting to see faces I don't typically see on a Monday. I see people that are coming back to my class that I haven't seen in a while. Maybe you've been going to other classes. I know you've been in school, and I'm just happy that you're all here. I know you just moved. There's a lot of transition happening in the world and probably in our lives. And last week when I came in on Monday morning, I was telling you after that snowstorm, being trapped in the house and then not having heat and not having a 4-wheel drive, I felt very isolated. And it was what I felt like was a trigger for me. And I didn't realize it was a trigger until Jen had opened up the studio and had conversed with some people who were saying that they also had gotten triggered by the feeling of isolation. And so I just kind of assumed, okay, this is what it is. But it came back over the weekend. And I was waking up at like 3 a.m. in a panic-stricken state, and I can't blame it on that anymore. And so I was like, why is this happening? Why am I waking up? First of all, allergies, I can't breathe. And then when you feel like you can't breathe, it gets a feeling of suffocation, you know? And then if you're not breathing very well and you're not getting that mind-body connection, it can create some anxiety. You know, it can change your heart rate. It's changing your breath rate. And I was checking in with my friend who's a psychic and a medium this morning. And I was like, hey, can you check my energy? Because this has started happening again. And I wanted to blame it on the snow and the isolation, but I think it's something more than this. And she was like, well, I need to meditate, then I'll check it, and we'll talk later. Well, we ended up talking right before I started teaching that last class, and she said, okay, this is what's happening. And it's going to tie in with what we're going to talk about today. I was mentioning a week or two ago how we're jostling right now between old earth and new earth. And the old earth is not just the patriarchy system, which is what we tend to relate it to, but it's the old ways. It's like the dark ages in a way, compared to us having to work and strive and life being hard and thinking life is equivalent to suffering. And that really wasn't the original design of the earth. And even the old stories reveal that, you know, that it was supposed to be like a heaven on earth. It was supposed to be plentiful, bountiful. And as we're transitioning, as things are changing with humanity and the planet, and we're seeing all this chaos and confusion and disorder, we are actually moving into something so much better, what is going to be considered the golden age, which is really, really exciting. And I've been sharing for a while, 2020 to 2024 is like the collapse of the old system. 2024 to 2028 is the rebuilding or the beginning of the new system coming. And we're in 2024. So 2024 is a lot happening with the collapse, but also the rebuilding. And so some of the conversations I've had in the last few days with one of my dear friends who's on the yogic path, who doesn't live here anymore, she was saying over the phone, it's Stephanie Jones, some of you know her, she was like, are you experiencing this? She goes, are you experiencing like severe hardship and triggers and trauma resurfacing? And then all of a sudden, everything is beautiful and everything is light filled and there's so much creativity and there's so much you want to do and things feel so great. I'm like, oh my God, yes. We are jostling between the two. And when we're in those moments of beauty and creativity and we're in the flow of things, life is easy. We're not feeling the suffering. We rise above the fear. There's no anxiety, right? And my boyfriend is even experiencing this. He's not on the spiritual path at all. But he started bringing up this in conversation over the weekend. So literally no one's going to be left behind. Every single one of us are experiencing at different levels. So to bring me forward to what I wanted to talk about today, my dear friend Stephanie, I just mentioned, she told me about a year ago, she said, you know, Robbie, you like astrology so much. Have you considered getting this app called The Pattern? And I don't like apps. I don't like filling my phone up with stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, man. I listen to my astrologers. I know my resources. I like to go figure out what they're saying. She was like, well, you put in your natal chart and it's specific to you. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Maybe I should try it. Anyway, I downloaded it onto my phone, and every now and then it'll give you a notification, and I don't always look at it. But Saturday I opened it up and it was talking about the collective energy. So this is not specific to my natal chart. It was about the collective energy of Uranus going direct. And there are many planets that are going to be going direct, which is good, because when they go direct and they're all direct, it's like a green light. It's go time. And what that means when it's a green light and go time, it means take advantage of the supportive energy. Take advantage of when you do receive that innovative idea, that insight to do something. So over the snow week, I couldn't work, I didn't have heat, I couldn't function, I couldn't think. The only thing I thought of was, I want to create a retreat to White Sands, New Mexico. Because as I was looking out of the window, I got inspired by the snow and I wanted heat. And I thought White Sands, and so I contacted Chrissy. I was like, Chrissy, I found a house. And she was like, yes. And I put it out there and it sold out within 2 days. That was the only thing I did. But do you see, I went with the inspiration. I didn't know if you might want to go to White Sands. It just kind of came out of nowhere. But I decided, put it out there, see what happens. Boom, it sold out. That's what I'm saying right now. We've got supportive energy. If you have anything you're trying to create, anything you're trying to do, it's go time. So it's exciting. But just remember, when you have those moments of waking up, maybe you're not waking up, that's my thing. But if you're waking up feeling anxiety, or if you're having moments where you're pulled back into the old ways or into the old idea of victimhood, we can choose to be a victim of circumstances or the creator of our circumstances. In the old system, we were not being supported. In the new system, we are going to be supported. In the old system, I have felt like being a yoga teacher was a struggle. As much as I love it, it's not valued by society. It's not a good income. You're not going to make it if you really want it to be a livelihood. But in the new system we're going towards, it most certainly is going to be valued and appreciated. Same with the arts. The arts that may not get a lot of, support and recognition, it's going to be supported and recognized. Any of the hard labor and work you've done in your past that you may have felt like, why did that even bother? And I'm looking at you right now. You did a lot of hard work in the past. It's reward time, which is going to be exciting. Okay, so let's just wait for it. Did everyone grab a strap? Okay, we're going to have a strap in hands reach. We're going to come down to our backs. And we're going to take our first position. Let's go ahead and take that strap and unroll it. Bring the right knee towards the belly. The foot into the fabric and sail the leg side. Extend your arms so that you're reaching up towards the foot and lightly hold the strap. So that way you're not muscling too much with your arms. Lots of times I'll see people holding the base of the strap and it just looks like they're really having to tug on it with the elbows. So straighten your elbows. and come into a somewhat state of ease. So it doesn't matter if your left knee needs to be bent. It's okay if it straightens out. Just keep it soft. Keep it simple. So I'm going to share with you what that app mentioned on Saturday. Uranus has gone direct. And Uranus is ready to launch us into our future. The energy of Uranus represents freedom, radical shifts, and change. It's time to integrate changes and breakthroughs that's been occurring the last few months and years. Maybe a new path is opening up for you, or maybe something is becoming illuminated in a positive way. This is the time to become even more authentic than you already are. Perhaps you're becoming ready for something unconventional. Reflect on how life has changed or how you have changed, and it could even be your responses. If you're not noticing any changes, pay more attention. And if you pay more attention and still don't notice any changes, become a change maker for the better. Break away from bad habits that restrict you. Feed yourself things that make you feel good in your body, that help you to stay grounded and induces some joy. And you can check that off for today, because this practice is grounding, helps us feel good, and can induce some joy. Now let's fire into the left leg. So straighten the leg and flex the ankle. Take both ends of the strap into your right hand. Open the leg to the right on your inhale. But on the exhale, bring it back up and cross it over your midline, refraining from the twist. Inhale, wave the leg to the right. Exhale, wave it across to the left. Inhale, abducting the leg away from your center. Exhale, abducting the leg and crossing it over the midline. One more. Inhale, open to the right, Padangusthasana B. Exhale, cross it over and pause for a moment. Opening up the IT band, that connective tissue on the outseam of the thigh. Now bring the leg through the middle so you can bend the knee, remove the strap. And let's take it to the left. The left knee draws into the heart so you can wrap the strap around the foot. Extend that leg and discover here. Would it be better for your back if your right knee stays bent? Or is it okay to send it forward and out? Either way is fine. But right now, just keep the right foot and knee soft. We're just isolating, warming up the hamstrings for a moment. Now on this side, on the previous slide, I was giving you the reading. On this side, I want you to open up your breathing. So breathe in that diaphragmatic way. So your belly and chest is feeling on the inhale and releasing on the exhale. Breath opening up on the inhale. And allow the lungs to empty the exhale. Now activate your right leg more. Take both ends of the strap now into your left hand. Inhale, open it to the left. Exhale, wave it across to the right. And continue with repetition. Flowing in sync with your breath. The more you can coordinate movement to breath, the more it becomes a meditational practice. So once you establish that rhythmic breath, the rhythmic motion follows. This next one, when you send it across, pause for a moment. We're going to be working with the IT band today, so this is like our little warm up. Okay, bring the leg back to the middle, bend the knee, remove the strap. Put the strap to the side, and you're going to take your hands and plug them right up underneath your buttocks. So basically, you're providing a platform to sit on, and your legs are going to extend forward. All right, we're going to work with the hip flexors and abdominals for a moment, because that's what's going to consciously control the action of the right leg floating up on the inhale. Point your toes. Exhale, flex the ankle, lead with your heel to lower. And if you want to amp up the challenge, you can hover the foot above the earth. Inhale, send it skyward. Exhale, lower it down. When you're picking the leg up on the in-breath, feel the peroneal muscles activate around the shin bone and feel your calves tighten up as you flex the heel and lower on the out-breath. Notice the quads get more defined with one of those actions, and the hamstrings become more defined on one of those actions. Good. Now, the next time you bring the right foot down, go ahead and rest it on the floor, and we'll take it to the left. Pointing and lifting as we breathe in, flexing and lowering as we breathe out. So if we're not just kicking the leg, right, and you're doing it slow and in control, it's going to help to strengthen the abdominal muscles and the hip flexors. In the last group, I made them do the piping legs together, but this is gentle. We're going to stick with the singular version. All right, let's lay the left heel to the mat. Let's release the hands from underneath our seat and draw the left knee in. Hold it. Stay consistent by controlling your breath. Not hugging in too tight, but giving yourself enough. Let's release that stretch. Send the left leg out, and let's draw the right knee in. Maintaining the static hold. Allowing the breath to flow. Noticing if you feel like you have more congestion on one side versus the other. Are you holding more in one side or the other? Remember, the hips help us to navigate the shifts and changes we're experiencing in life. Exhale, let's release. All right, slide your feet apart, and hopefully you have the space available to do this pose where the arms are up overhead. Separate the arms wide, just like you're separating the legs wide. This is like the yin form of corpse pose, but it's like a star shape. Just relax into it. Soften your elbows, soften your wrists and fingertips, your ankles, and toes. Take up space, take up room, and don't feel sorry about doing so. Notice with your arms overhead how it helps to open up the chest, how it's opening up the pit of the arms. And BKS Iyengar used to say, keep the pits of the arms open. You're less apt to become depressed. And I know we can't walk around like this, but even those classes that we come to, if we start off noticing, I feel a little depressed today, or I'm feeling a little anxious today, why not take this pose for Shavasana and just open yourself up and allow this to be medicinal to induce that little bit of joy. We need the joy juice. All right, on your next out breath, draw your knees back in, and you can take a hold of the back of your thighs or the front of your shins for this, but your thighs are open, very wide apart. So you're allowing your knees to flop open. You're allowing your feet to relax. And this can be helpful if those single leg lifts were causing you any aggravation in your low back. This generally tends to bring about some more comfort, some more elongation. Take one more deep breath. And then when you're ready, roll to one side of your body. Push down into your hands. And we're actually going to come all the way up to stand. Now, this is where you want your blocks in front of you. And look down at your feet. And make sure that your toes are pointed straight ahead. Because sometimes we're in the habit of standing like this. My son, I correct him all the time. I'm like, hey, look at your feet. He's a drummer, right? So I'm like, it's gonna mess up your knees and hips and back and neck. So literally it all begins from the foundation. So now that you have your foundation set, bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. Good, lace up your fingers and then reach the palms up towards the ceiling above. And notice when we reach the arms up, how it's almost like we're about to lift off. So ground your feet, plug them down into the floor. Exhale, curve and lean to the right. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, take Chandrasana, curve and lean to the left. Good, inhale, come back to the top. Exhale, let your arms fan out. Bring them back to Anjali Mudra, prayer position, and you're gonna shift your weight to the left leg, and you're gonna pick up your right knee. Flex that right ankle. Set your gaze at one specific point in front of you, and then step back with your right foot and reach your arms towards the back side of the room. Stabilize by looking down at your front foot. Aligning the knee over the ankle so it's pointed towards the center of the foot. And then go ahead and bring the arms forward and up. Erect the spine over your pelvis. So Kelly, back your heart up more. There you go. Yep. Turn your palms to face each other. Feel this work in that iliopsoas muscle. And then as you exhale, come back down. But instead of taking the arms straight back, spread them out if you have the space. If you don't have the space, you can keep them alongside your hips like we did before. Good. Inhale. One more. Coming up, crescent. Exhale, hinge forward and hover. Feel free to splay your wings a little wider if you have the room. And when you're ready, press through the left foot. Try to stand on the left leg and return to pas A. That is a challenge. If you have to tiptoe the foot down at first, then lift it up, that's okay. Now release your right leg. All right, ground your right foot, spread out the toes. Lean your weight that direction. Hands together can really help with balance, by the way. It's bringing the energy together from the left and the right side of the body. Pick up your left knee, flex the ankle, find your focal point of concentration. Exhale, step the foot back. Take your time, arms radiate towards the back of the room. And then inhale, drop the arms, bring them forward and up. Crescent lunge. Exhale, bring the arms down, aligning next to the hips or spreading them out like wings of an airplane. Inhale, returning crescent lunge. Exhale, hinge forward and hover over that front thigh. Glue down the mount of that big toe so you stabilize the knee, so you work the inner quad. And then when you're ready, shift your weight onto the right leg. Pick up your left knee. Hands to prayer position. And then step the foot down. Awesome. Okay, create equanimity between the two legs and feet. And inhale, let your arms circle wide and overhead. Take a little gentle back bend at the top. Exhale, forward fold. Releasing down to your Uttanasana. Now shift your weight slightly forward towards your toes. Wrap your arms behind the backs of your knees and grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and slide the arms down. They may only want to slide an inch or so. And if that's not good for your back and you need to do something else, please cater to your body and honor your limitations. That is being a true yogi. Affirming here as you hold. Nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back from growing into my fullest potential. I choose to be a co-creator in my life. Release your hands apart and step back to plank. And when you come to plank pose, line up shoulders, elbows, wrist, rock forward, and then exhale, come down slowly, slowly to the floor. Untuck your feet, stretch your leg bones back, bring the feet a little closer together, tighten up through your buttocks, roll the shoulders back, lift your head and chest. Cobra Bhujangasana. Sphinx is also acceptable. But if you're in the cobra, squeeze the elbows in more. Back muscles. And then exhale, roll down to your brow. Inhale, push up through table. Keep your hands as is. Curl the toes and lift the knees off the floor to downward facing dog. Get onto the balls of the feet, into the mouths of your hands, and stretch long through your limbs. Reach up through your seat and see if you can grow your hips maybe just an inch or so higher. Let's all take a cleansing breath. Breathe in through your nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Inhale, come forward, plank. Shoulders restacking over wrist. Exhale, rock forward, lower down, down, down to the ground. Untuck the feet, stretch the leg bones back, loop the shoulders away from your ears as you lift. You can do Sphinx. If you're doing Cobra, wrap those arms in. One more breath. Good. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, push it up the table. Exhale, curl the toes. Lift up and back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. All right, from here, take a cleansing breath. In through your nose, spill it out through your mouth. Belly's hugging in so you're not getting too ribby, meaning you're not getting into a back bend. And when you're ready, let's meditationally walk the feet forward, 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 towards the top of the mat. Bow back into self. Wrap the arms behind your knees. This time, clip a hold of your left wrist. Slip and slide it down your calves. Let your head go. Let your jaw soften. Let the energy of blood flow come down to the sensory organs, to the pineal and pituitary glands in the head. And affirming once more, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. I choose to grow to my fullest potential, for I am a co-creator. One. Then now release your hands, and you're going to find your blocks. And you're going to walk the blocks out in front of you until the hands are stacked underneath your shoulders as your spine lengthens. So I want you to really look at the space between your hands and your feet. It should be very similar as if you were on hands and knees in tabletop position. That way we can elongate the spine. All right, we're prepping with this pose to move on. So let's move on. Let's walk the blocks now beside the feet and immediately step the left foot back behind us. Lunge that right knee so that shin is perpendicular to the floor. So if your knee goes way past, maybe try to wiggle the left toes towards the back side of the room. All right, from here, we're gonna flow. When we flow, try not to have a death grip. You don't have to work your hands that much. They're just kind of resting here like they would on the floor. Press through the right foot, straighten out through the right leg as best you can. Good, spill the head down. Make sure the left toes are facing you. And if they are, elongate your neck in line with the spine. Look down towards your front foot. Okay, so once you're now looking at your front foot, think about dialing your left hip bone a little bit more towards the blocks. Okay, so it's just dialing that left hip around. Good, exhale, bend the elbows, maybe drape down with the head and the heart, if that's possible. Inhale, straighten your arms, lift your head back up. Exhale, lunge the knee. Okay, this is gonna be our new flow, but we're gonna do it with breath, okay? Inhale, straighten the front leg, square the hips. Exhale, maybe collapse and bow forward. Inhale, create some space. Exhale, lunge the knee and look out. Good, inhale, straighten the leg, you're looking down. And as you exhale, you may want to bow. Inhale, space, length. Exhale, lunge the knee. Good, inhale, re-stretch the leg. Pause here now. The right hand's gonna lift up and it's gonna reach forward into the room. And you're still resting on your left hand, but you're gonna revolve open into a revolving triangle twist. You got it. Now we're starting to get into IT band again. Hopefully you feel it. Exhale, bring the right hand back down. Good, lunge the front knee. Bring the back knee to the floor. Bring in extra padding with a blanket if you need it. Let your hips just surrender for a moment. Good, untuck the back foot. Peel the right foot off the floor, resting on the heel as the blocks walk back more or less alongside your knee. Okay, so now we're in the half splits. I already feel it myself here, but if you want to go deeper, you can walk the blocks forward and you can fold. But sometimes, I mean, I can fold, but I'm actually feeling like I'm getting more here today. And this is what we always have to be in that state of curiosity about. Just because you can doesn't always mean you should. You may be receiving something else at this point that you need. Okay, now, if you are folding forward, you're gonna lift back up and prop, like I'm kind of demonstrating here. And you're gonna turn your toes out. And then you're gonna turn your toes in. Good, very simple, gentle, turning the foot out. Good, and turning it. One more, turning the toes out. And then turning them in. Good, turn them back up, so they're more neutral here. Walk back down to the sole of the foot. Walk the blocks forward. Curl the back toes. Pluck up that back knee. Good, now springboard that back foot to step up and immediately step your right foot back. And if you need a break from all that, stand up, shake it out. Lunge that front knee, really bury down the front big toe, and then let's push into that front foot to straighten out that front leg. Good, drop your head, look towards your right foot. If it's even slightly catty cornered, turn the toes to face you. Then lift your head back up, neck in line with the vertebrae, and then dial your right hip around towards the blocks. And that's gonna be hello IT band. Do you feel it? That little adjustment with the hips. All right, exhale. Maybe bend the arms, maybe bow forward. And give yourself permission to do less if that's a better option. Inhale, create some space by lengthening the arms and back. Exhale, lunge the knee and look out with your eyes. Inhale, re-straighten and restructure your hips. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more sequence. This is just warming us up for where we're going with that revolved triangle. This time, when you're lifting out of that standing form of Hanumanasana, you're going to lengthen your left arm and then slowly clockwork that arm up towards 12 as you revolve into your twist. If that top shoulder gives you any grief, remember you can take the hand to the hip. So don't feel like you have to sail it skyward necessarily. There's always some modifications. Exhale, let's bring that left hand down. Let's lunge the knee again and dip down to the back knee. Okay, this is where if you want to add that blanket, you can. Keep surrendering the hips for a second, and then untuck that back foot. Walk the blocks back as you re-straighten that front leg. And then again, maybe this is enough. Maybe you want to forward fold. And then we're going to walk it back. Surrender the hips. Good. Straighten, half Padmanasana, half split. Staying tall or folding, yogi's choice. And one more. And this is where if you chose to fold, which is fine, lift back up as we turn the foot. Okay, so your blocks are underneath your shoulders. Roll the toes to the left. And then roll across the heels, the toes roll in. All right, super simple, gentle movement. Rolling out on the inhale, turning in on the exhale. Noticing what else that affects in the meantime. Now toes jutting back up towards the ceiling. Walk the blocks forward, come down to the sole of the left foot, curl the back toes under, pluck up that back knee. When you're ready, springboard the back foot forward. Send the blocks forward and release to your Uttanasana so your hands can dangle freely. Soften your face, even the tongue of the mouth. Inhale, root to rise up. And then exhale, bring hands down to the hearts. All right, we're going to revisit that first flow. You're going to shift your weight to your left leg and lift your right knee. We're going to step it back. Arms reach back. Inhale, arms up, crescents. Exhale, our wings are going to splay and we're going to lift to airplane and fly. If your balance is really off today, your blocks are there for you. And you can just land your hands and keep the right leg afloat, okay? So you have options. Gently lift the head and lower the right foot. Okay. Hands to heart. Shift the weight to the right. Picking it up a notch by lifting the left knee. We'll be adding in the airplane pose. Once we step back, lift up to crescents. Splay your wings. And when you're ready, shift and lift. Again, the blocks are there for you. You may have to walk them over a little bit to the right. They're there if you need them. Breathe. Ready. Lower the left foot. And bring the hands to the heart. Awesome. Okay. The last group, we did a lot more flow. We went to revolving half moon. We're not doing that in gentle. So we're moving on. Inhale, the arms float up. Exhale, swan dive down, Uttanasana. Inhale, sit back, plank. And then on your exhale, you're going to pull up through your waist to create downward facing dog. Good, inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, we're gonna swing that shin forward, land it behind your hands, slide your left foot back for pigeon. So if that right knee is in between your hands, it really should be behind your right wrist. Yes, great modification. Denny is showing on the back, right ankle over the left knee. All right, once you're here, walk it out. And you can always rest in Sphinx arms. You can rest on props or the backside of your hands or the floor. Notice how quiet it became. When we were up, we could hear the breath rolling in the room. Then we get to this pose, it gets quiet. How intuitive. Because this pose takes us inward. Those other poses were outward. Exercise reflows. It's okay. Going through lots of change. The center with the hips is about navigating that change. Can we be in the flow? So Denny, for you, and you do that same IT dance straight from the beginning if you want, or you can just be as you are. The rest of us, we're going to inhale, slowly come up from pigeon. We're going to plant the palms, curl the back toes. As we lift the back knee, we're going to slide the right leg out and under. So the right leg's going under your belly. Yes. And then bend and buckle the arms so that you can sink down to your outer thigh. You got it. And you're going to come down to Sphinx arms. I know, it's a little awkward. At least in my belly, it's a little awkward. You can sense how this can also open up that connective tissue of the IT band. It can get very taut, very tight. And if you want to have less sensation, you can have your right arm to your right side, your left arm out in front of you, and maybe you just want to try it out. I like resting on my right ear when I'm like this. You may prefer the other ear. Slide your left hand towards your face. Slide your right hand towards your shoulder. Pick your head up, curl the back toes, lift the hip, and separate that right foot away back to plank. Good, then pull up through your waist and move back to downward facing dog. Good, we got one more side. So lift your left leg up. Swing that shin through behind the hands. Remember, left knee behind the left wrist instead of between them. Slide your right leg back. Coast on down to your degree of flexibility or flip to your back. And allow the left ankle to rest on the right knee. So, remember, I don't know how you were as a teenager, but when I was a teenager, I was like so negative in my mindset and attitude with life. And a bit suicidal tendencies, I would say as well. And one of my slogans used to be, life sucks and die, right? Can you believe how much of a turnaround I am at this point in my life? Yoga helped me with that. I have found yoga in my mid-20s. And yoga has continuously helped me to see life in a more colorful and more brilliant way. So consider when you're in pigeon, do you have any old ideas like that that have you pigeonholed? That's not allowing you to be your true authentic self. That is not allowing you to be a co-creator in your life, because it's go time. The green light is here. We are going to be given opportunities to step into the light even more. Witness that light within yourself. You can even ask your soul in these quiet moments if you're ready to level up. You can tell yourself, I'm ready, let's level up. And the next in-breath, we're going to lift the face. We're going to stack onto the palms, affirming I rise above the past and future to this precious moment of now. Curl the back toes, lift that left knee and hip along the way, so you can just slide that left foot through and then sink down to the outer portion of your thigh, drop down to Sphinx arms. And if this is just way uncomfortable, you can go ahead and splay the arms, but I thought we'd start here first and then go there. And if you can't do this, you could be on your back with the strap and send the left leg across your body, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're just in a different relationship with gravity. And the right arm can move forward, the left arm to the left side if you want to plant down to one of the ears. And close the eyes. And so this IT band that we've been working with correlates to the gallbladder meridian according to Chinese medicine. And within that, emotions like anger and irritability. It's like where the temper tantrum wants to happen in the body. Let's go ahead and start to come out of this pose. Slide your right hand towards your face, your left hand closer to your body, and lift your weight up. Roll the back toes under, pull that left hip off the ground, slip your left foot back to join the right, come down to your knees. We're going to shift onto our seats. And this is the time you get to pick what you want for Shavasana. So if you have been feeling, lack of joy, if you've had that attitude, life sucks, then you die. Maybe you should be in this pose to remember you are part of it all and it's all a part of you. The stardust particles live within us. If you feel like you want something restorative, using your blocks, using your bolster, create that luxury for yourself. This is the best portion of the practice, because it gives us time to assimilate and to integrate the benefits of what we've been doing. Allow yourself surrender in. Give yourself permission to drop out of your head and down into your heart. Because the heart is the true intuitive center. And the heart should lead the way. The heart can even take us away from the ego. The ego is often our block, our barrier. Feel free to imagine a lotus blooming in your heart center. Just as if you were seeing one bloom sitting on the top of a pond or lake. The ancient civilizations even honored the lotus flower as a symbol of transformation, beauty. There's even a mantra that we haven't mentioned in a while. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Which means celebrate the jewel of the lotus. The spirit that resides in your heart. Connect to that piece of yourself now. sound of the mindfulness bell ringing. Take that as your cue to enliven your breath. Create some gentle movement in your body. An opportunity to begin to exit the pose that you chose. Taking your time. Finding a comfortable seat when you're ready. Taking a quick assessment to see how you feel now compared to the beginning. Let's join the hands together. Let's set our intention to be proactive versus reactive. To be a creator of circumstances instead of a victim of circumstances. Oh, shanti, shanti, shanti. For showing up and doing the work and being pleasant and I will say my restorative workshop that's coming up in February is the annual one with Healing Touch. The healing touch that we use is not the energy work of healing touch, it's more adjustments and yoga massage when you're in these positions. Jen will be my assistant. We work together so that we can split the room up. And it's going to be held Friday, February 16th. So a couple of days after Valentine's. So if you want to give yourself a little step of love, that's usually how we present it. Giving good love that night. I think there's also a music mantra. I think Gershon and Gina will be here the Friday before that. So what is that? 16th minus 7, the 9th. So February 9th, another Friday night, will be some live music in here. And they're fantastic. It's the same people I used to bring to Half Noon.
Oh my goodness, Susan's here today.